Hello students. In this class, we will be covering oral mucosa from oral histology. These are the topics we will be seeing in this class. Make a note. Now, oral mucosa is a very important topic and a lot of one words have been asked in the previous year papers, so pay attention. Now, the structure of the oral mucosa can be divided into epithelium, lamina propria or the connective tissue, and the submucosa. Between the epithelium and the lamina propria, you have something called as the basement membrane. The epithelium can be keratinized or non-keratinized. The lamina propria has two layers, papillary and the reticular layer, and the submucosa has glands, fat cells, blood vessels, and nerve fibers. We will see about structure in brief. Kindly note this image. In this image, the red line demarcates the epithelium and its layers. The yellow line denotes the connective tissue or the lamina propria. It is divided into the papillary layer and the reticular layer. And below, the green line shows the submucosa. Now coming to epithelium of the oral mucosa. Based on keratinization, the epithelium in the oral mucosa can be divided into keratinized and non-keratinized areas. Now the keratinized areas are present in the masticatory mucosa, gingiva, hard palate, and the vermilion border. That is, masticatory mucosa comprises of the gingiva and the hard palate, and the vermilion border, that is the lip border, is also keratinized. Non-keratinized areas are the lining mucosa and the specialized mucosa. Specialized mucosa is the tongue. Lining mucosa is the mucosa of the buccal vestibule. All the vestibular areas are the lining mucosa. Kindly make a note. Keratinized and non-keratinized areas of the oral cavity is an important one word. You can see in this image, the keratinized epithelium has 4 layers and the non-keratinized epithelium has 3 layers. The keratinized epithelium has stratum corneum, stratum granulosum, stratum spinosum, and the stratum basale. The non-keratinized epithelium has superficial layer, intermediate layer, and the basal layer. Keratinized epithelium, the first layer of the keratinized epithelium or the lowermost layer you can say is the stratum basale. It is a single layer of cuboidal cells. New cells are generated in the stratum basale. Basal cells plus the parabasal spinous cells together contribute something called stratum germinativum. Important one word. Basal cells plus parabasal cells, parabasal spinous cells together form the stratum germinativum. Now, hemidesmosomes are found on the surface of the stratum basale, whereas desmosomes help the basal cells to attach to each other. Hemidesmosomes are found on the surface. Moving back to the diagram. On the surface of the basal cell layer, you can find hemidesmosomes, but between the basal cell layer, you can find desmosomes. Desmosomal proteins present in the basal cell layer are desmoglein and desmocholine, one word to note. And the basal layer also contains stonofilaments, attachment plaques, and gap junctions. Something to note is tight junctions are absent in the oral epithelium. There is something called tight junctions. Just like gap junctions, there is an attachment facility called as tight junctions in the oral cavity. It is absent in the oral mucosa, but it is present somewhere else, that is the salivary glands. Tight junctions are absent in the oral epithelium, but they are present in the salivary glands. Next layer, stratum spinosum. The second layer is called as the stratum spinosum. They are irregular, polyhedral, larger than the basal cells, and the cells are joined by intercellular bridges. Desmosomes are more prominent here, that is the cell-to-cell attachment. Desmosomes are more prominent here and they give a prickly appearance, hence the name spinous layer. One word to note, here the cells resemble cockle burr or sticker. Most active in protein synthesis is the stratum spinosum. Next layer, third layer, stratum basale, first and lowermost layer. Stratum spinosum is the second layer. Moving on to the third layer, stratum granulosum. It contains wide and flat cells, and the stratum basale cells are larger than the spinosum cells. Important one word to note is stratum granulosum contains keratinosomes or oddland bodies or membrane coating granules. Keratinosomes, oddland bodies or membrane coating granules are all synonymous, and this is an often repeated one word. Keratinosomes are found in which layer of the oral epithelium? The answer is stratum granulosum. Moving on to stratum corneum. Stratum corneum contains cells that are flatter and larger than the stratum granulosum. Cell organelles such as nuclei, ribosomes, and mitochondria have disappeared, and the cells of the stratum corneum are densely packed filaments. That's all about stratum corneum. I'll repeat again, cells are flatter and larger than the stratum granulosum. Cell organelles have disappeared in the stratum corneum, and the cells of the stratum corneum are densely packed. Cells of the oral epithelium in individual are cytokeratins, keratinocytes, and the non-keratinocytes. Non-keratinocytes are of three types: melanocytes, Langerhans cells, and the Merkel cells. We'll see about each in brief. Cytokeratins. Cytokeratins are also known as intermediate filaments. Their function is stress bearing. Cytokeratins always occur in pairs. CK1 or the cytokeratin 1 and 10 are found in the suprabasal layer. Please make a note of this. It is a one word. Cytokeratin 4 and 13 are found in the suprabasal layer of the lining mucosa. Suprabasal layer of the masticatory mucosa has CK1 and 10. Suprabasal layer of the lining mucosa has CK4 and 13. Ventral surface of the tongue has CK5, 6 and 14. Soft palate has CK7, 8 and 18. I'll repeat again. Cytokeratins found in various sites are an important one word. Suprabasal layer of masticatory mucosa has CK1 and 10. Suprabasal layer of lining mucosa has CK4 and 13. Ventral surface of the tongue has CK5, 6 and 14. Soft palate has 7, 8 and 18. Keratinocytes. They increase in volume from the basal to the superficial layer. In brief about keratinocytes, we would see in perio. Non-keratinocytes. As I already mentioned, non-keratinocytes are of three types. First one being the melanocytes. Melanocytes are derived from the neural crest cells. Important one word to note. And they stains for melanocytes. Positive stains for melanocytes are three. Silver stain, which gives a spider or dendritic appearance. Mason-Fontana stain, and the eosin hematoxylin stain. In the HNE or the eosin hematoxylin stain, they appear as clear cells. Due to the staining pattern of the melanocytes. Due to the staining pattern of the melanocytes, they are also known as clear or dendritic cells. Next one, Langerhans cells. They contain convoluted nucleus and rod-like granules in the cytoplasm called as the Burbeck's granules. One word to note, Burbeck's granules are found in what type of cells? Answer is Langerhans cells. Langerhans cells are hematopoietic in origin. They contain vimentin type intermediate filaments. They migrate into the gingiva during bacterial invasion from plaque. Non-keratinocytes, the last type is Merkel cells. Merkel cells again migrate from the mural crest cells. Their function is undefined. They are stained by the PAS stain. Basement membrane, as I already mentioned, students, between the epithelium and the connective tissue of the oral mucosa, you have the basement membrane. Ultrastructurally, it is called as the basal lamina. It is the interface between the epithelium and the connective tissue. It contains collagen fibers, reticular fibers, and glycosaminoglycans. It is 1 to 4 micrometers wide. One word to note. Basement membrane again has two layers, lamina lucida and the lamina densa. We'll see about them. Lamina lucida is the clear zone near the epithelial surface. Lamina densa is the dark zone near the connective tissue surface. It is 20 nanometers wide, lamina lucida. It contains a glycoprotein layer, contains type 4 collagen and bullous pemphigoid antigen and laminin. Please make a note. Bullous pemphigoid antigen is seen in lamina lucida of the basal lamina. Laminin and type 4 collagen promote epithelial growth. Lamina densa, it is the dark zone near the connective tissue. It contains type 4 and type 7 collagen. Lamina lucida had only type 4 collagen. Lamina densa has both type 4 and type 7 collagen. Type 4 collagen in the lamina densa has a chicken wire configuration and it is coated with heparin sulfate. Lamina propria or the connective tissue. Lamina propria has two types of collagen fibers, type 1 and type 3, and then elastic fibers. Lamina propria is divided into two. The first one is the papillary layer. Second one is the reticular layer. The papillary layer lies between the epithelial ridges or the retiridges, and the reticular layer lies below the papillary layer. I'll show you in the image. Now, if you can see, the epithelium is here. The epithelium with its layers, 4 layers of keratinized epithelium. You have retiridges. Retiridges are nothing but projections of epithelium into the connective tissue. The part of the connective tissue which is between the epithelium retiridges are called as the papillary layer. The part between the retiridges is called the papillary layer of the connective tissue, and below the papillary layer of the connective tissue is the reticular layer. The papillary and the reticular layer together constitute the lamina propria or the connective tissue. Moving on to submucosa, it consists of connective tissue of varying thickness, density. It has salivary glands, fat cells, blood vessels, and nerves. It has specialized receptors for cold, touch, and free nerve endings. So submucosa has specialized receptors, one word to note. For cold, receptor for cold is called cross-end bulbs. Receptors for touch, Maecenas corpuscles, and the free nerve ending receptors are the pain receptors. Age changes in the oral mucosa. Now, as we age, the oral mucosa also changes. It becomes thin, the tongue becomes smooth, and on the lingual surface of the tongue, a human can develop varicose veins. And development of varicose veins on the lingual surface of the tongue is called as lingual varices. Now, the following tend to decrease with age in the oral mucosa. Salivary secretion decreases, thickness of the oral mucosa decreases, the number or the count of filiform papilla in the tongue. It is a taste bud, it decreases. Sensitivity to stimuli also decreases. We are ending this session with MCQs. First one, Oddland bodies are seen in dash. Options: stratum spinosum, stratum granulosum, stratum corneum, and stratum basale. Answer is option B, stratum granulosum. I've already mentioned, students, this is a very important one word which is often asked. First one word which we've given here is often repeated in the exam. Answer is Oddland bodies are found in stratum granulosum. Second one, which of the following layers are absent in non-keratinized epithelium? Options are stratum corneum, stratum granulosum, stratum spinosum, and stratum basale. In the non-keratinized epithelium, you have three layers: stratum basale. In the non-keratinized epithelium, you have three layers: stratum basale, stratum intermediate, stratum superficial. But it is the feature of keratinized epithelium which is absent in non-keratinized is stratum corneum. That's all, students. That's all for this session. Thank you.